Hi, all. I'm back today to share with you step 7 of our 8 steps for building a trauma-informed school. If you missed all the previous videos, numbers 1 through 6, please go back and watch those and get yourself up to speed so you are ready for step 7. And this one is one that I feel really passionately about, and that is recognizing secondary trauma and supporting the self-care strategies or collaborative care strategies of our staff members. So when we are working in a high-stress job, as we all are in schools, right? Especially when we are working with populations that experience a lot of trauma, our teachers are enduring a lot of secondary trauma and toxic stress. And maybe some of them show the signs of this, and maybe they don't. Some people are very high functioning. Myself, for instance, I didn't realize how much toxic stress I was carrying around with me until I was no longer in a school building and couldn't believe how much better I felt. And I didn't realize that I felt that badly. Some of us compartmentalize really, really well, which can actually work to our detriment. So it's really important to have these conversations. It's really important to bring this to light, just like with any, mental health issues, right? We have this idea of let's break the stigma. We need to do the same in our schools. We need to talk about it with our teachers. We need our teachers to know what secondary trauma is. What is toxic stress? What are the signs of it? And then we need to, walk the walk and talk the talk, right? And so, and sometimes this is easy and sometimes it's much harder, but we have to figure out ways to protect the social emotional health of our teachers, because at the end of the day, this is going to result in teacher retention or not. And so again, I almost hate the word self-care. This isn't like telling our teachers to go, have a spa day and take a bubble bath and drink some wine or whatever it is, eat some chocolate. That's not what we're talking about. It's really helping them to identify what their needs are specifically in terms of self-care. And there's a lot to that. And I'm actually going to be sharing a lot more about this topic this year. I'm really excited about some resources and tools that I'm going to roll out. But we need to help them identify where their areas for growth are, and then what are the things that are actually going to help. And so, some of the suggestions that are made to teachers are very trivial, right? And they come from a good place, but we need to understand that it's so much more than that. It's so much more than bath bombs and, scented candles. And hopefully as educators, we all know this. The other piece of this is implementing collaborative care practices. Collaborative care practices being practices that help us care for each other, one another in our school building. And so, like I said, there's a lot more I'm going to share about this, but we really need to start learning about this. That's really what this step is about, because I don't think that we do this well in education, really understanding secondary trauma, understanding toxic stress, and what the different components of self-care are and what to do about it. And then this idea of collaborative care is really, I think, kind of a newer concept in education. So learning about what that looks like. And this is going to be different for every teacher, for every school environment. But as an administrator, for those of you who are administrators or school counselors, social workers, it has to be part of your job to keep a pulse on the social emotional health of your staff members, every single one of them. And if you're a teacher, make it your job to keep a pulse on the social emotional health of those around you and yourself, very first and foremost, right? If you're a parent, how can you, um, help get some of these conversations going in your kids' school? Because and there are lots of things that parents do that are really really helpful, right, and help our teachers feel appreciated and loved and cared for and all of that, and that's not to discount any of that, but we really need to take it to a deeper level in caring for them. We have to help teachers find that balance, that word, that it's not easy, and so we need to just start the conversation. And so that is what this step is all about. And if it seems vague, I understand that. Like I said, there's so much to this that I am going to share more. And I'm going to have some very specific resources coming soon for this. So I hope you'll be on the lookout for those. But if you've made it to step 7, bravo. And let's start these conversations. Let's start these conversations with our teachers, with our staff, um, and let's keep a pulse on everyone's social emotional health. If you have the ability to push for policy that protects the mental health of our teachers, then please make that, your position, your goal for the year. And if you're not, then let's think about how we can start the conversation, and how we can be a touch point for our teachers, for our schools, in diving into this step. So be on the lookout for more in regards to step 7. And I hope that you will join me back here next time for our very final, very important step, step number 8. I'll see you back here next time.